I work in an industry that has a funny working week, so I found myself with a couple of days off and I thought I could do something productive with that time.
I had made contact with the organisation on the Northern Beaches looking for assistance for Ian, and I was put in touch with the coordinator for the volunteer program, and through her she obviously did a match, thought of a little bit about us.
I do remember that in Ian's profile as such. I gave a little blurb about who Ian was and what his needs were, and one of them was love sport and rugby, and given I work in rugby I thought it was appropriate. That's right, we chat about when the Wallabies win and we don't chat about when the Wallabies lose, is that right? Yeah.
It's been very easy, very comfortable. I feel extraordinarily happy that we've got somebody like Ellie helping us. I've seen the rewards that it's given Ian in his disposition, and then of course when Max came into all our lives, if I can say that, it had a huge impact on Ian. His whole persona changed. As you can see, he loves little Max.
I've been lucky enough to be part of Ian and Jenny's life for just over a year. So we've seen 3 lockdowns together, a pregnancy and my son.
When I retired, I thought, well, I have enough grandchildren that would take up my time, but that's not quite enough. I think I needed a little more. So I spoke to my son, my eldest son, and I said, I'm going to volunteer for something. I called around and eventually found myself talking to someone in a volunteer organisation. Very soon after that, she organised for me to meet my first client. I visited him for 2 years, every Thursday. We went to coffee, to every coffee shop in the entire length of the Northern Beaches. I believe that it's important to Ken because he is a very strong personality and he's in a facility where dementia is enormous, and so he has very few people there with whom he can communicate, number one. Number two, those that he communicates with, he would be the listener. He needs to have someone who listens to him, and that's my job. And when he does that, it frees him. He comes alive because he feels heard. Every human being needs to feel heard.
3 years ago, between 2016 and 2018, I lost 5 of the most important people in my life. That was when I started to really notice that I needed to have somebody to even talk to. I did not have anybody that I could just, if something was in my mind and I needed to talk to somebody, I didn't have anybody to do that with. And that's where it has become wonderful for me to have Lorraine's companionship.
I saw it on our local Facebook group, Avalon What's On, and I thought that it was something I'd like to be involved with. My family are overseas, but I have seen Patricia weekly since the beginning, and we have just laughed so much.
Well, we had in common, I think, a sense of humour and a want of fun and to enjoy, which we had no chance of having with these terrible lockdowns that we were living through. And we were able to get out of that by doing everything out of doors and going on lovely walks. And we could talk about just simple things like that. And it was so enjoyable.
So it's lovely. For both of us, we've had a connection where I haven't been able to see my family, Patricia hasn't been able to see her lovely family, and I'm sure that has been an extra reason why we've bonded.
I became a volunteer at the start of COVID because I felt that there was a lot of people that were in trouble, that were isolated, that were perhaps losing their jobs. And we don't always realize how many people there are out there in the community, even in the most affluent areas, that are vulnerable and that have no one caring for them. So it is very important for us to look out for those people and see what we can do to help them. We take it for granted that we can just jump on the internet and shop and have meals delivered to us, whereas not everyone is able to use technology like us younger generations can. And so I thought perhaps by doing some shopping or by delivering meals to some of the people that were out there isolated, that I could give something back to them.
I think the more you give to the community or anybody, the happier you're going to be, because I think that's part of the human condition. Anybody who has cut themselves off because they're retired or older, they would find a great deal of reward to become a volunteer and do good work for someone else.
I think you get so much out of volunteering because the benefits will surprise you. Like I just thought it was a productive use of my time for an hour, but what I've got out of it is a wonderful friendship with Ian and Jenny and the people that they live with, and their wider family, and my family, you know, gets updates about Jenny and Ian. So I just think what I signed up for is not what I get back every day. It's so much more.